just when you thought our world couldn't get any crazier. Hollywood steps in with Civil War by director Alex Garland, also known for movies like Men and Ex Machina. That's right, folks. It's not enough that we have our own real-life drama. Now we have to deal with a fictional America ripping itself apart, too. But hey, who doesn't love a bit of dystopian chaos with their popcorn? In a divided America, the president is holed up in the White House, facing his own people. War photographer Lee Smith, played by Kirsten Dunst, and her partner Joel, played by Wagner Moura, race to Washington, D.C. to interview the president. They are joined by veteran journalist Sammy, played by Stephen McKinley Henderson, and young photographer Jesse, played by Kaylee Spaney. Together, they travel through dangerous territories, witnessing the brutal aftermath of conflict. As they get closer to their goal, escalating violence tests their resolve to capture the story at any cost. All right, let's get into it. This movie plunges us straight into a chaotic future America, where chaos is the new normal. The war photographers, led by Lee Smith, are pretty much emotionless, driven by the need to capture the perfect shot. They'll do anything for a scoop, and I mean anything. The film does a great job of pulling you into this bleak world right away. You know you're in for a wild ride when within the first 10 minutes, you see a character buying a soda with Canadian dollars. Yes, folks, in this universe, the USD has completely tanked. Nice touch, Garland. Makes you wonder if the next global currency will be monopoly money. One scene that really stood out was Lee's bath scene. No, it's not what you think. This isn't some relaxing spa moment. Instead, it brutally showcases everything she's endured since the rebellion. You can practically feel the weight of her experiences. If Lee's life were a Facebook status, it would read, "It's complicated and really, really tough." Now, let's talk about the journalism in this world. It's like nothing we know today. These journalists are in the thick of it, snapping pictures of people getting shot, even during gunfights. They're cold and detached. Their cameras wielded like weapons, dead bodies, blown-up cars, and military vehicles are just another day at the office for these folks. It's intense and in your face, but it works. Seriously. The only thing more dangerous than the war zones they're in is a photographer trying to get that Pulitzer-winning shot. Kirsten Dunst, who I'm usually not a huge fan of, actually delivers a solid performance as Lee. She's got this world-weary, jaded vibe down pat. Wagner Moura is fantastic, as always, bringing a certain gravitas to his role as Joel. Stephen McKinley Henderson's Sammy is probably the only sensible character in this mess. He doesn't take unnecessary risks, which is a breath of fresh air in this chaotic world. And Kaylee Spaney's Jessie adds a touch of naivety and ambition to the mix, making her character's journey all the more compelling. From a technical standpoint, the movie is impressive. Alex Garland knows his stuff. With fantastic shots of chaos and destruction, the action scenes are sharp, brutal, and gritty. The use of music and silence is spot on, creating an atmosphere of tension and suspense. The soundtrack ranges from hauntingly beautiful to downright chilling, and it complements the visuals perfectly. But here's the rub. The movie doesn't give us much context. We never learn what led to the Civil War, who the factions are, or their motivations. It's like watching a football game with no idea which team is which or what the rules are. The characters, aside from Lee, feel pretty shallow. They're just kind of there. No deep backstories, no clear motivations. Even the old man, Sammy, feels a bit bland despite being the voice of reason. The script is somewhat bland, with no significant character development or arcs. It feels like the movie is on autopilot, just moving from point A to B without much substance. There's no real payoff, and it seems to hold back, maybe to avoid controversy. But let's give credit where it's due. The foreshadowing in the beginning of the movie pays off nicely at the end. There are some really tense moments, especially the scene with Jesse Plemons. You can cut the tension with a knife, or in this case, a telephoto lens, and the chemistry between the actors is decent. They make the most of what they're given, and there's a certain authenticity to their interactions. The world Garland has created feels incredibly real, almost too real. It's like he took our worst fears about the future and turned them into a cinematic reality. The USA in Civil War is a savage land of killers, a place where humanity has been lost for a cause that's never fully explained. It's dark, it's gritty, and it's a bit depressing, but it's also captivating. Overall, Civil War has a cool concept with really impressive cinematography. It immerses you in this twisted version of America where humanity has lost its way. But it doesn't quite accomplish what it sets out to do. The characters are underdeveloped, and the story feels a bit aimless. It's like a beautifully wrapped present with nothing inside. Nice to look at, but ultimately disappointing. So, After all is said and done, I'd give Civil War a 7 out of 10. It's worth a watch for the visuals and performances. But don't expect a deep or satisfying narrative. All right, that's a wrap for today. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. See you next time. If the world hasn't ended by then,